movie starts and we see a man injecting a green liquid into an egg yolk. Within moments, that single yolk splits and becomes two. How that is possible, we are about to find out. The scene then cuts, and we see workers installing a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. The name on that star is Elizabeth Sparkle. Elizabeth is a strikingly beautiful model who has also hosted a popular television show for many years. For a while, people loved coming to take pictures with her star, but slowly, over time, the crowd stopped coming. The star cracked. Nobody bothered to fix it, and it was very clear from looking at it that the world had quietly moved on from Elizabeth Sparkle. The scene cuts again, and now we see Elizabeth herself. Today is her 50th birthday. She has aged. Wrinkles now line her face, but she is still hosting that same show, holding on to it as tightly as she can. After the day's shoot, Elizabeth walks to the bathroom. She finds the ladies' room locked for some reason, so she steps into the men's room instead. The show's director happens to be in there at the same time, loudly talking on his phone. He is saying that Elizabeth is not what she used to be. Because of her, the ratings that were once sky high are now falling steadily. He says he needs to replace her. He wants someone new, someone young and beautiful to bring the show back to life. Elizabeth hears every single word. Her heart shatters. The beauty she had always been so proud of had quietly disappeared. She stands in front of the mirror and stares hard at her own reflection, at all the wrinkles that now cover her face. She was already grieving her youth. And now, on top of that, she was being pushed out of the show she had given her life to. Elizabeth does not accept this without a fight. She goes directly to the director's office to confront him. The director looks at her and says plainly, "Elizabeth, I cannot help you. My show runs on what people want. I want to give them beauty. And right now, that is not something you have anymore." Those words shake Elizabeth to her very core. She takes her leave from the show. But as she drives home, the director's words keep echoing inside her head over and over again. Her attention drifts from the road. An oncoming vehicle crashes into her car at full force. It is a terrible collision. But remarkably, when checked afterward, Elizabeth does not have a single scratch on her body. She was lucky to be alive. The doctor at the hospital discharges her, but on her way out, she sees her own image being taken down from a billboard on the street outside. She breaks down completely and begins to weep. Back inside, while a nurse checks her spine, she is handed her clothes and helped off the examination chair. The moment Elizabeth steps outside the hospital, she feels something in her clothing. The nurse had slipped a folded message into her pocket. The message reads, "This changed my life." Along with it is a small flash drive labeled "The Substance." Elizabeth comes home and plugs the drive into her computer. A recording begins to play. It explains what the substance is. It is a magical fluid, and it can give any adult human being a brand new young version of themselves. Along with this substance, a stabilizing fluid is also included, which keeps both the old body and the new body connected at all times. The person using it must switch between both versions every 7 days without fail. And to keep the new young body stable and functioning, a daily injection is required, drawn directly from the spine of the old body. While one version is active and awake, the other version remains completely unconscious. At first, Elizabeth dismisses all of it as nonsense. She throws the flash drive in the trash. But that night, a breakdown takes hold of her. The photographs of her younger self, hanging all over the walls of her home, feel unbearable. In a moment where she can barely hold herself together, she pulls the drive back out of the trash, dials the number on it, and tells the voice on the other end that she wants to order the substance. The person on the line asks almost nothing, just her address. Then they give her a specific location and cut the call. The next morning, Elizabeth is sitting quietly reading the newspaper when she spots an advertisement placed by her own network, looking for a new model to replace her. Her sadness deepens. Alongside the newspaper, she also finds a black envelope. She opens it and finds a number written inside. Following the instructions she was given on the call, she makes her way to a secret location that looks like a hidden storage facility. She is given a numbered access card. She uses it to find her locker, opens it, and inside is a box. She takes the box home. When she opens it, she finds several things inside. First, a one-time use syringe loaded with a serum. Next, a stabilizer kit for keeping the new young body functioning every day, using fluid drawn from the old body's spine, just as the flash drive had explained. a special switching tool for transferring between both bodies every week, and food parcels prepared separately for both the young body and the old body. Elizabeth goes to the bathroom and stands in front of the mirror for a very long time, just staring at herself. She is thinking. She cannot quite make the decision. Then after a long silence, she injects the green fluid into her body. For a few moments, nothing happens. Then the pain arrives without warning, sudden and overwhelming. Her eyes begin to split. Her eyeballs double right in front of our eyes. Then her back tears open. And from inside her, a brand new young woman crawls out. This is Elizabeth's new variant, a second, younger body born directly from the old one. The new variant looks at herself in the mirror and cannot believe it. The substance had actually worked. She is breathtaking, young, radiant, everything Elizabeth had once been and more. After a long moment of staring at herself in disbelief, she stitches up the wound on the back of the old body, the tear from which she had emerged. She then attaches a food bag to the old body to keep it alive and unconscious, using the one the company had provided. She spends the rest of that first night simply enjoying the feeling of being young again. The next morning, she wakes up and goes to the bathroom. Her nose is bleeding. She remembers the stabilizer kit. She must extract the substance from the old body's spine every single day and inject it into the new body to keep it functioning. She does exactly that, and the nosebleed stops immediately. She feels completely normal. The new body is glowing. She is ready. She gets dressed and heads to the audition for the very show she had just been fired from. The moment she walks into the room, every person in it is stunned. The director selects her on the spot. She gives her name as Sue. After being selected, Sue suddenly remembers she needs to switch back to the old body every week. She makes up an excuse for the director, saying her mother is very ill and she needs every weekend off to travel home and care for her. The director agrees without any hesitation. Sue has her job. She throws herself into the show completely. Her beauty radiates on screen. She gains followers rapidly. Billboards with her face start appearing across the city. Advertisements run everywhere. 6 full days pass inside the new body. The 7th day arrives. It is time to switch. For the next week, the old Elizabeth body will be the active one. Sue switches back. Elizabeth wakes up in the old body, attaches the food bag to the new body to keep it unconscious, and heads to the show's office. There, the director hands her some money along with a gift, but uses the meeting to criticize her thoroughly and dismisses her from his office. Elizabeth comes home feeling deeply hurt. The next day, while reading the newspaper, she finds an envelope from the same company she ordered the substance from. The message says her new refill kit has arrived. She goes immediately and picks it up. The 7 days in the old body are complete, and Elizabeth switches back to Sue, activating the new young body once again. Now in Sue's body and craving all the excitement life had to offer, Sue realizes one problem. She cannot let anyone discover the truth. So she makes a decision. She breaks open a wall inside her apartment and hides the old Elizabeth body inside it, sealing it away in a secret hidden room. The knocking and breaking is so loud that her neighbor comes to complain. But the moment he sees Sue's beauty, he loses his words entirely, forgets his complaint, and ends up offering to help with anything she needs. Sue closes the door in his face with attitude. Hours later, the hidden room is complete. The old body is tucked safely inside. And because Sue is now famous and Elizabeth's identity has been replaced, Sue also hides all of Elizabeth's old photographs along with the body. Sue is so absorbed in enjoying her new life that one day she simply forgets the switching day has arrived. The old Elizabeth body's food supply is nearly empty. The switching time has passed. Sue has a friend over at her home. While busy with them, she starts to feel a strange tingling pain spreading through her body. She knows what it means. It is time to switch. But this time, instead of switching, greed takes over. She decides to stay in Sue's body just a little longer. She extracts more substance from the old Elizabeth body and injects it into herself to push past the deadline. She stabilizes. But what happens to the old body because of this will become clear soon enough. 7 more days pass just like that. When Sue finally switches back, Elizabeth wakes up and looks down at her hand. One of her fingers is rotting. It has begun to decay. This happened because she did not switch on time. Elizabeth panics and immediately calls the company. She tells them she missed a cycle and asks how to fix the damage to her finger. The company's answer is cold and final. What is done cannot be undone. There is no fix. And then they remind her of the most important rule she has been breaking. You are not two people. You are one. The new body that came out of you is still you. Both versions are the same person. You must take better care going forward. Elizabeth accepts this, though she is frightened and moves on. She goes to pick up her refill kit and stops at a restaurant afterward. There, a strange old man approaches her table and begins talking to her in an unsettling way. Then Elizabeth notices a mark on his hand. It is the exact same mark that was on the nurse's hand at the hospital. This man is the nurse's original aged body, his old variant. He leans in and asks her quietly, "Has your new body started feeding on you yet?" The question sends a deep chill through her. She stands up immediately and leaves, rushing home as fast as she can. Back home, Elizabeth wants to find a way to feel happy in the old body too. She calls a friend to meet up. She dresses carefully and applies makeup the same way Sue would, trying to look her best. She is almost out the door when she sees Sue's posters covering the walls outside on the street. All her confidence drains away instantly. She begins to unravel. She tears at her own makeup and hair. She falls into a deep depression, eats enormous amounts of food in a daze, and eventually collapses into sleep. The next scene shows us that Elizabeth has now switched back to Sue. It is show day. Sue is dancing on stage during the shoot when she suddenly feels a strange lump forming on her lower body. Confused and alarmed, she stops the shoot and rushes to the bathroom. She presses the lump and works it out through her navel. When it comes out, she sees it as a piece of chicken, the same chicken that Elizabeth had been eating the night before in the old body. Sue is horrified and confused, but then she jolts awake. It was a nightmare, just a bad dream. She shakes it off, switches into Sue's body for real when morning comes, and heads to the shoot. When she arrives, she finds the crew packing up all the equipment. They tell her the show is being canceled and will never air again. She panics and rushes to the director. But the director immediately turns her fear into joy. He tells her she will not be doing the regular show anymore. She's going to host the New Year's live special instead. Sue is overjoyed beyond words and agrees on the spot without thinking twice. The problem is, New Year's night is the exact night she was scheduled to switch back to the Elizabeth body. But Sue pushes that thought completely aside. She stays in the new body for weeks on end, extending far beyond the allowed limit each time, and keeps injecting substance from the old Elizabeth body to maintain herself. The damage being done to the old body is becoming visible and severe. When Sue finally switches after many weeks, Elizabeth wakes up and is horrified by what she sees in the mirror. She has aged dramatically. She looks destroyed. Sue had been draining the serum excessively for so long that the old body has been ravaged by it. Elizabeth is filled with rage. She begins tearing down every poster and photo of Sue from the walls of her apartment. She covers the mirror that faces the street so she does not have to see Sue's billboards outside. Then she calls the company in desperation and begs them to reverse all of this. Can she not go back to the body she originally had before Sue emerged? The company's voice is harsh. You were warned before. Nothing can be changed now. Your only option is to stop everything right here and live out the rest of your life in the body you are currently in. Elizabeth refuses completely to accept that answer. That same night, the show calls. Elizabeth forces herself to switch back to Sue. After switching, she extracts 3 full months' worth of substance from the old Elizabeth body all at once and injects it into Sue's body. This will keep her going for 3 months without needing to switch at all. 3 months pass and Sue lives fully, enjoying every moment. But then, on the night before New Year's Eve, the fluid runs out. Sue has a guest over at her home. Suddenly, she feels something terrifying. Her internal organs feel like they are about to tear apart from the inside. She rushes to the hidden room and tries to extract more serum from the old Elizabeth body. Nothing comes out. She calls the company in a panic and tells them no serum is coming out. The company tells her bluntly that the supply has been completely used up. She extracted all of it already. New serum will take time to regenerate. Until then, she must switch back to the old body and wait. The moment she hears this, Sue's condition begins to collapse rapidly. Without thinking clearly, she attempts to force the switch. All the sounds from the bathroom are heard by the guest she brought home. He feels something is wrong and comes to investigate. Sue quickly locks the bathroom door before he can see inside. What is inside the bathroom is beyond terrifying. The old Elizabeth body is now unrecognizable. Completely withered, hairless, barely able to stand or walk. It is so frightening that anyone would run from it. Elizabeth is overwhelmed with fear. She calls the company and says she wants to end everything right now. The company agrees and tells her to come pick up the termination fluid. With great difficulty, she wraps the old body in clothing to hide it as best she can and goes to collect the termination fluid. She comes home with it. She's about to inject it into Sue's body to end the new variant permanently. But then the company's warning flashes through her mind. If you inject this termination fluid while in a specific body, you will be locked in whatever form you are in at that moment forever. That one thought stops her hand. She cannot end it while trapped in this ruined body. She stares at Sue's still, unconscious form, and suddenly all the rage and resentment she has been carrying pours out. She injects the termination fluid into Sue's body instead, but she only injects half of it, because mid-injection something stops her. She remembers the New Year special. She remembers the award she is supposed to receive. She wants the applause. She wants to hear people praise her again the way they once did. Greed wins. She pulls back and keeps the other half of the fluid. She tries to wake Sue up. Sue does not respond. She tries to switch bodies. The switch does not work. In desperation, Elizabeth pulls the activator directly from her own spine and injects it into Sue. Sue's eyes open. Both variants are now awake and active at the exact same time. When Sue sees Elizabeth standing over her, and when she realizes that Elizabeth was trying to terminate her, a violent rage explodes inside her. Sue grabs Elizabeth and beats her with everything she has. She does not stop. She crushes Elizabeth's head completely and kills her. She has just killed herself, her own original body. The moment it is over, Sue realizes the enormity of what she has done. There is no more activator serum left now. The source is gone. There is nothing left to sustain her. She cleans up all the blood, gets herself together as best she can, and leaves for the New Year special. The director welcomes her with enormous excitement. For a moment, everything feels wonderful. Then something strange begins happening inside her body. Blood starts dripping from her nose. She rushes to the bathroom and opens her mouth. 2 teeth break off and fall into her palm. She touches 2 more and they fall too. She understands now. With the original Elizabeth body dead, there is nothing holding her together anymore. She is hollowing out from the inside. She needs the activation serum immediately or this body will completely fall apart. She rushes out of the venue and heads home. But while she is still inside the lift, a nail on her finger snaps off, and then her ear cuts off and falls into her hand. She barely holds herself together as another person enters the lift. She forces herself to look normal until they leave. The moment she gets home, she uses the activation serum. It does nothing. Her body is already too far gone. Then she remembers. She still has the original one-time use substance syringe that came in the very first box. The pain tearing through her is so severe she cannot think straight. She grabs the syringe and injects it into herself without hesitation. The pain that follows is unlike anything she has ever felt before. Her back tears open exactly as it did the very first time. But what crawls out this time is not a young woman. It is something monstrous. A hybrid of both Elizabeth and Sue fused together, deformed and terrifying like a creature from a nightmare. Sue is now a hybrid. Her mind is so shattered and broken that she cannot even process what she has become, or whether she can go out in front of people at all. In a desperate attempt to hide it, she takes one of Sue's photos and presses it over the hybrid's monstrous face like a mask, and then she walks to the stage. She reaches the microphone. The photo slips from her face and falls to the floor. The audience sees what is standing before them, a grotesque, horrifying creature where a beautiful woman once stood. People scream. Everyone runs. One man in the crowd panics and swings a baseball bat directly at her face. Her jaw shatters and explodes outward. Blood sprays across the entire studio. The audience stampedes for the exits. What remains of the body comes apart in strange and terrible ways, crawling and dragging itself through the building like something that should not exist. It makes its way outside to the street below, to the exact spot where Elizabeth Sparkle's star is embedded in the pavement. The body collapses there. Everything is gone. Only her face remains, broken and twisted, lying on top of that star, staring up at the open sky with a faint smile. And then even that explodes into pieces, leaving only blood soaked into the ground around the star. The next morning, a worker arrives with a mop and cleans it all away without a second thought. And with that final image, this brutal, terrifying, and deeply painful story comes to an end. If you want to see more movie stories explained just like this, comment next in the box below and we will bring you the next one right away. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.